past 2 weeks, we have strategized, came up with mechanisms to fit our strategy, and we made everything that we wanted our robot to do work. So that means completing geometry, figuring out how much power we need per mechanism, and just getting all of the specifics down. The biggest challenge that we've faced was deciding what kind of mechanism we wanted to use for our robot. This game, it gives us a lot of freedom, so there's a lot of options that we could go with, so it was just deciding between what we wanted to do. In the beginning of the season, we came up with the priority of being able to score in the amplifier well. We decided that based off of the amp bonus. For that, we have a shooter that is attached to an elevator. Behind the shooter, we have a indexer. It's kind of like a holding area for the note. Off of that whole mechanism, on the front of the robot, we have a full frame under the bumper intake. The hang, we're going to be using a climber in the box. That way we just attach it to our robot and raise off the ground.
The past 2 weeks, we basically just focused on shooting the vertical shooter into the amp. And one of the things we wanted to focus on was our accuracy. So as you know, there's many variables that we had to take into account for. We basically just figured out ways to make our accuracy a lot more accurate. Once we figured out ways to mount our shooter, our results were a lot more accurate and consistent. Compared to the CAD, being able to test it in real life is a lot harder because, we're only holding it and our variables change between each shot. So we wanted to find ways to solidify our results. So we used mounting blocks to make sure that we could get our angle set, and instead of holding it, we decided to balance the shooter on blocks to make sure the height was always the same between each shot. Since the programmers don't have much to do, they help a lot with testing. They're the ones that are needed to run the program, so I feel like the communication between the builders and the programmers has improved a lot, and it's made our team work a lot better overall.
So for the past 2 weeks, we've mainly been just testing our subsystems code and creating commands. I think that one of the biggest challenges that programmers face was dealing with a lot of the design changes that were made, and we sort of just had to adapt our code to fit whatever they changed. For the shooter prototype, programmers, we helped a lot with the data collection, whether it was taking videos or getting measurements, and we also helped to change the motor speeds.